Yes, fax machine.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Okay, East Hampton Town ZBA, we are live.
Box of deposition
Okay,
transfer.
We are live. Welcome, everyone.
I
The
was
Town of
doing
East
my
Hampton
spare
Zoning
time.
Board of Appeals meeting for September 19th, 2023. We have some scheduled public hearings tonight. Just for announcement, we do have one canceled public hearing this evening, and that is Thomas Muse at 27 Hopkins Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk, Tax Map number 300-51-1-10.8. I'll read the first one into the record. The first application is Liam Griff at 35 Hopkins Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk, Tax Map number 300-31-2-4. The size and location is 7,320 square feet at 35 Hopkins Avenue, Oceanside in Montauk, lot 223, map number 2730 in Montauk. The description is to construct 498 square feet of additions and dormers, 170 square foot covered porch, 36 square feet of window, well, reconstruct and expand the existing rear deck, a 100 square foot shed, a 160 square foot patio and fire pit, clear approximately 284 square feet, and construct a new IA sanitary system on a parcel of land within jurisdiction and setbacks of freshwater wetlands within rear yard lot line setbacks and outside of the town's pyramid regulations. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town Code, and 6 variances are required for this application. One variance of 2 feet from 255-430 of the Town Code is required to construct a proposed patio and fire pit 98 feet from freshwater wetlands where 100-foot setback is required. One variance of 1 foot is required from 255-1110 of the Town Code to construct a proposed patio 9 feet from the rear yard lot line where a 10-foot setback is required. One variance of 1.2 feet is required from 255-1110 of the Town Code to construct the proposed decking 8.4 feet from the western side yard lot line where 9.6 feet setback is required. Variances of 2 feet, 6.47 feet, and 8.65 feet from 255-1172D of the Town Code are required to construct the addition 2 feet along eastern property line and 2 dormers 6.47 feet and 8.65 outside of the town pyramid regulations along western property line and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B residence, AE flood zone, elevation 11, and the secret class is type 2. And council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting? Eric?
Just in the nick of time, I just found the copy. I do have copies of the affidavit of service and posting, and it appears that everything is in order and the board has jurisdiction over this application.
This is
Mine. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This first photo is of the posting here on Hampton. Next. I've turned and I've looked to the west. You get an idea of the neighborhood here. Next. Now I've turned and looked to the east. Again, this is down in Ditch Plain subdivision. Next. I've just turned completely opposite the driveway and looked at the neighbor opposite across the street. So you get a feeling for this neighborhood and what the size houses are from looking at this one. Next. Now I've turned and looked into the driveway. I'm looking at the residents on the parcel that are under discussion. Next. I've moved myself off to the west here, and that dormer, one of the dormers that's suggested, that's proposed, is in the near corner to us here, right above that narrow window, and between there and the chimney. Next. I've walked my way around to the side of the house and I've looked back. There's a proposed fire pit and stone patio, and it's out in this direction. I'll get another shot of it, but you can see a little bit of the support for the deck to your left. You can see juxtaposition to the house, and you can see about where the vegetation is. Next. And I've turned and looked off. Now there's going to be a discussion about a wetland that was once on the survey that's no longer considered a wetland. It would have been off in this area here. Next. I've turned from that back corner about where the fire pit is, and I've looked back towards the house. There is suggested a proposed deck in the corner nearest us here. And also, if I look up at that chimney, that second dormer would be proposed between the chimney and the near edge of the house. Next. I work my way around just to take a look. You can see there's a shower stall there. We're looking up to where this window well is to be, and you can see the gate towards the front. Next. I've taken one more picture down around between the gate and the shower of that window there and where the window was proposed. Next. And that's just a redundant photo. Next. That may be it. Oh, this is out taking a look. I'm on the west side, and I'm looking back, looking east, and we have a new septic system, the sanitary system proposed, and it would be going off in that direction towards the white Jeep and back towards the right, or the right on the photo there in front of the Jeep. Next. Doesn't matter. That's another shot just back. That's where the tank would go, and I'm standing over the leaching fields at that point. I think that's it. Is that right? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have the meeting?
Good evening. Shannon McCaffrey from Dewey's Planning.
Okay.
Do you want to swear me in?
Oh, yeah, you swear to affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Deline and board members. We're here this evening to discuss 35 Hopping Avenue. I represent the homeowners, Liam and Kelly Griff. The family purchased the property in 2018 and have since made this their full-time residence. When we began the project, Mr. and Ms. Griff had one toddler and a newborn. Today, they have 4 children from 3 months to 4.5 years old. Mr. Griff works from home, and their oldest child has started attending school in Montauk. The lot was created in August of 1957 by a subdivision and is a pre-existing non-conforming by current code with respect to lot width and lot area. The lot size is 7,320 square feet and is currently improved with a 1,350 square foot 2-story dwelling. The lot is only 60 feet in width, and there is a pocket of wetlands located on a nearby town-owned lot to the south. The applicant is proposing a 2nd-story addition and 2 dormers to the existing dwelling that will increase the gross floor area of the dwelling by 498 square feet. This portion of the proposal requires 3 variances from Pyramid. The proposal also includes reconstruction and expansion of the existing rear deck, construction of a shed, patio with fire pit, and egress window well for the basement. The conventional septic system is being upgraded to an IA septic. The southern 2nd-story addition requires a 2-foot variance from the Pyramid restrictions. This is an extension of the existing roof line. This rear 2nd-story addition will be utilized as a bedroom. The southern dormer variance request of 8.4 feet is to allow for proper head height for a proposed closet. The 6.47-foot variance request for the northern dormer is to allow for proper head height in the stairwell. The existing stairwell is narrow and constructed unusually steep stairs, seemingly due to lack of proper head height. These stairs will be proposed to be rebuilt to meet code. As suggested in the technical analysis memo, the applicant has decided to revise the location of the proposed patio and fire pit to meet the rear setback and 100-foot setback from wetlands. The deck expansion will also be aligned with the western wall of the dwelling to eliminate this variance. This has eliminated 3 variances, leaving the 3 Pyramid variances for consideration. The grant of these variances will not cause an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood. This neighborhood consists of narrow, undersized lots which create restrictive envelopes regarding Pyramid. The southern 2nd-story expansion is in line with the pre-existing Pyramid encroachment and is not visible from public perspective. While the 2 dormer variances may appear to be substantial at face value, they are the minimum necessary and have been sized to be proportionate with the scale of the existing structure. From the public or street view, they are sandwiched between the existing chimney and roof line, maintaining the appearance of the salt box style roof. The dormers have been sized to be the minimum width needed, 7 foot 10 inches, to meet head height requirements rather than extend across the entire western roof line. From the side yard view, they measure 4 foot 6 inches in height and blend into the existing roof. This property line is also heavily vegetated. The proposal presents no negative impact to the neighbor. The Griffs have a young growing family and have taken careful consideration into what is needed for their family, while also working hard to preserve the character of their home within the Ditch Plains neighborhood, which they love. In this design and proposal, they have balanced the needs of their family while also considering the neighborhood. They're not seeking to maximize allowable gross floor area or total lot coverage. Instead, they're proposing an additional bedroom and recreation room in the basement, adding the proper escape well rather than seeking further expansion to the maximum GFA. The proposed variance requests are the minimum to achieve the goal of the applicant. The grant of these variances will not have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions as the project will include gutters and leaders directed to dry wells to help with drainage and runoff in this area. Mr. and Ms. Griff have also, with the help of Fort Pond natives, created a rain garden in the corner of their rear yard planted with native species where their current runoff is collected and will continue to be part of the drainage management on site. The upgrade to an IA system is an overall benefit to the environment. Lastly, the need of these variances was not a self-created hardship. The property is narrowed in width with a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling with respect to pyramid. The applicants have proposed the minimum needed to meet the needs of their family. Thank you.
Questions, anybody? I have a few, but I'd rather maybe turn it over. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, we'll start with you. You've already said that the problems with the fire pit and that patio, you're
Yes,
going to move those back so we don't have to worry about that.
correct.
All right, so you've already stated that. And then you're obviously looking at 2 large pyramid variances, and you know that the board scrutinizes those very carefully whenever we have one in front of us. So we do have some vegetation. I was there on the site. I took the photos. I see that it's well screened, but of course it is very close. It's a narrow lot, as you point out. So that narrow lot proposes certain problems for the owner when he buys the property, knowing that this is going to be a hard place to do any expansion. This expansion right now is very close to the property line, and I think that you've made a good case for why they want it. We'll have to decide whether or not what you're offering, which is the IA system basically, is enough to offset the fact that we would have to approve 2 pyramids, right?
But I just want to clarify, oh, go ahead,
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
I want to clarify the reasonings for the dormer, because you said it's for head height, and then you also, the other one is for stair
Yes, for
stair
the,
clearance. But this is a modern house that was designed or built in 1998, and the codes haven't changed since. So I'm not understanding why the nexus for this. The house was designed appropriately for the lot, without pyramid, as 90+% of the designs go. And now you're coming to us, if this was built in the 30s or something like that, we might understand head height issues. But this is a modern house that was just built, and I don't understand the nexus for coming to for a pyramid variances on it.
well, so I don't know how the stairs got there, but they're definitely not meeting code. The risers are extremely steep. I don't have the exact riser height dimension with me, but there's no way they meet code. And so when we were laying out and doing all the designs to rebuild the
But it had to have
stairs,
passed a C of O in modern time. So it had to have passed code. So unless you have a letter from a building inspector stating that it's not code, we don't know how to draw that line.
well, I know that since he has so many little children, that he definitely does not want the steep stairs. And so that's why we're designing the staircase how it is. And every way that we've tried, we run into the head height issue. And so that's why we're requesting the relief from the board. And
I'm sorry, you have any other?
No, go ahead. But I do say, just to follow up on what the chair had to say, is that if there's an existing stair that did pass the C of O inspection, so it's there and it exists, so they must have headroom enough to get up to the second floor. Otherwise, it's not something that was added later. What you're basically saying is we're going to make a selective decision to change the staircase to make it more comfortable and you think safer, and that requires for you to add this dormer. So it's not that you're trying to make it meet code. You're going to need to meet code with this new design of a staircase, right? So it's basically a new design requires the dormer, not that the existing design required a dormer, right? That's basically it. Yeah. So there are some changes here, and then
there are interior changes, yes.
I mean, unless you get, as Member Deline suggested, a letter from the building inspector saying they're not to code, there was a mistake in the CO.
I don't have that. I mean,
No, it's something you might explore, that's all.
okay, we could leave the record open for determination.
Any other questions?
No. No, it's pretty clear. Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Tyler,
Yes, that's right.
Good evening, Tyler Borsak for the Planning Department.
Hi, Tyler, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So the application is requesting approvals in order to construct 2 dormer additions on the west side of the residence and 2 second-story additions on the north and south side of the residence, along with reconstructed and expanded decking, a covered porch, new shed, paver patio with fire pit, walkways, and an upgraded sanitary system. It's worth noting that there's flagged wetlands on the survey on the southeast corner of the subject property, which after subsequent inspections by our department would no longer qualify as a wetland. This area appears to have been impacted by the property owner and was deemed to not be appropriate for consideration as a wetland at this time. Overall, the proposed project appears to be in keeping with the improvements in the area and the existing on the parcel, but careful attention should be paid to the requested variances, some of which were eliminated as was already discussed. Approximately half of the property and the majority of the existing improvements are located within 150 feet NRSP jurisdiction to the wetlands to the southeast, with only a limited area of the parcel within setbacks to those same wetlands. The proposed improvements appear to be minor additions to the existing residence. According to the included building plans, the existing gross floor area of the residence is 1,356 square feet, and with the proposed northern and southern additions and 2 dormer additions, the result in the gross floor area will be 1,854 square feet, where 332 square feet is the maximum allowable. The proposed dormer additions should be looked at closely to see if they meet the variance standards, especially in an area of similarly non-conforming properties. Approving 2 dormers to be constructed 8.65 feet outside of pyramid regulations is a fairly significant variance, which could impact development of other neighboring properties in Ditch Plains area of town. The 2-foot pyramid variance along the eastern side of the residence is no more non-conforming than the existing roof line, but would be an extension of that non-conformity approximately 14 feet further south. The northern of the 2 dormers on the west side of the residence requires a 6.47 foot pyramid variance, and the southern dormer requires an 8.65 foot pyramid variance, both significantly outside the pyramid requirements on a roof line that is pre-existing to pyramid regulations. The 3 remaining variances were all removed. The paver patio and fire pit was moved slightly north on the property to move it outside of setbacks from both the rear yard and from wetlands. And the deck on the rear of the residence was shifted in to not require a side yard setback variance. This property does benefit from 4/10 relief since it is so non-conforming to lot width. The remainder of the application requires a natural resource special permit with the included mitigation of an upgraded sanitary system to a modern low nitrogen IA sanitary system. It likely meets the NRSP standards. The proposed porches and additions above are mostly over improved areas with some minor increases in coverage. And the proposed walkway is at the same approximate location as the existing brick walkway. The proposed shed is located in closer proximity to wetlands within jurisdiction, but is not a large structure and should have minimal impacts on those wetlands. Similarly to the proposed fire pit for the fire pit, and they meet all setbacks. So other than that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions, anybody?
I think I'm.
How many lots in the ditch plain area? Are there many lots that are narrow like this?
Yeah, a lot of them are very similar, I would say.
Yeah.
I can pull up the aerial if you'd like to see the neighborhood in general. But I would say a large majority probably are a similar size and shape.
Mhm.
Do you want to see those, the aerials?
I believe
You can pull
Tyler.
them up for us
Yeah.
if we want. Let's take a look.
That's the subject property. This is the street in general. As you can see, most of them are roughly the same width.
Mhm.
Some are wider. Some are like double lots, like this here. Out here is a double lot, but a lot of them in the general area are very similar.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll come back up. Oh, is there anybody in the public who'd like to talk? Jason, anybody online?
We have no callers on the line.
Thank you. All right, go ahead. All right, so what do we want to do? I think the dorm, you're going to sense that we have
Well-
I feel we need, from looking at variance standards, it's, to us, it appears as a substantial variance, and that's going to pass it. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, or.
I agree that at face value, they are very substantial, but it is the two dormers that have been minimally sized. I think maybe it would be beneficial if we requested a written determination from the building inspector to come out and inspect the stairs, because I believe, I was looking back in my file, and the riser heights are 8.75 inches. So I think that they're too steep, because I believe that code's 8 1/4. So if we could leave the record open for a determination from the building inspector to confirm if the stairs are compliant to code.
Great. All right.
Okay.
How much time do you think?
I mean, the building department's pretty backed up. Could we do a month?
Sounds
That's pretty good.
I'll request it tomorrow, but it might take a little bit to get them out in the field and everything.
All right, great. Thank you.
That will only address the steps in the southern part of the, for the dormer in the south, right?
Right, and so we'll submit a submission with it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then the application of Liam Griff, 35 Hoppin Avenue, Montauk, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-31-2-4. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing, but leave the record open for 1 month till October 19th for the submission of additional information about the condition of the existing stairwell.
Second. Concur.
Concur.
Concur. Thank you. Next, we have Teresa Quigley at 1082 Fireplace Road in Springs, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-39-14-10. The size and location is 48,473 square feet at 1082 Fireplace Road, Springs. The description is to construct a 360 square foot roof deck, a 175.5 square foot covered porch, hot tub, and driveway expansion on a parcel of land containing tidal wetlands and surface waters. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420, and variances up to, from 255-430 minimum wetland setbacks of the town code. Variances of 64 feet, 71 feet, and 68.7 feet are required to construct a roof deck, covered porch, and hot tub 36 feet, 29 feet, and 31.3 feet from wetlands where a 100-foot setback is required for structures. Zoning district is A5 residence, AE flood zone, elevation 10, and the secret class is type 2. And council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting?
I've reviewed the affidavit of service and posting, and it appears that the board has jurisdiction over this application.
Thank you. And this is in member Savarise's.
Thank you, Chairman Deline. I did visit the property. Unfortunately, I was unable to get onto the property because of the call box. When I called, no one responded, so I'm going to refer to the planning department photos. This was the notice when I got there. This is how it was displayed. Next, Tyler, please. Okay, this is a good photo, because this is actually showing the second story, and where that flat part is next to the garage is actually where the roof deck is going to go. I was a little confused with this survey, and maybe Rick can address this, because it references this is a proposed second-story expansion. So initially I was like, we're not adding to the size of the house, which expansion actually implies. To my understanding, that's where the roof deck is going to go. Next, please. All right, this would be, as you pull down the driveway, this is the front of the house, the entrance, and behind the trees to the rear where the trees are is the area where they want to expand the driveway or add to it. Next, please. This is a similar, let me look, because I didn't say, okay, so this is that's the concrete padding where they're proposing to put the screened-in porch. Next, please. This is just from another angle, different perspective. Look, actually going toward the harbor. This is again the area where they're planning to extend the driveway further. Next, please, Tyler. I'm not actually sure, since I wasn't on the property, where this is. Tyler, can you reference this photo for me? Because that's not in our packet.
That is like looking at down here, the south, that's like the south side of the house.
Okay, thank you. Next, please.
That's it.
And that's it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to address Mr. Whalen about was, the other thing that's kind of misleading on the survey is, it actually almost looks like the hot tub is in the garage, but it's not. To my understanding, it's on the top of the roof deck they want to put on. But to me, it almost looked like it was in the garage, so I had a little confusion with this survey. Thank you, that's it for my field
Thank you.
inspection.
Rick?
Well,
Oh, yeah, Rick.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Richard Whalen from Whalen Filer PLLC, representing the applicant, who is Teresa Quigley. Yeah, there are issues with the survey, so I'll deal with them at the start. Let's actually start by doing that. 3 things about the survey. First of all, and let me pull it out here. It refers to it's a second-story addition or second-floor addition or expansion. Says proposed second-story expansion. Well, that would imply
more.
an expansion of the house.
Right.
So it's not. Planning department did realize that it's just a deck. It's a roof deck. So, but the language is misleading. Second thing is, it's not the right size. If you look at the actual building plans, the proposed building and elevation plans, the roof deck won't go to the western side of the building. It stops about, I think, about 6.5 feet short of that. The banister basically at that end of the roof deck is about the same height as the roof line that's coming down. So bottom line is, the roof deck, and this is my calculation, we're gonna have to give you a more precise number, but my calculation, the roof deck's around 288 square feet in size, not 360, because it's not 30 feet long. And then the third thing, which is probably the biggest of all, is that they don't show the hot tub in the correct place.
Right.
The hot tub is supposed to be, as Member Savory suspected, the hot tub is supposed to be on the deck, so it will not be on top of the attached garage, which is where it shows in the survey. It will be at the western end of the roof deck, the proposed roof deck. So that changes the setback, the wetland setback, and again, we're gonna have to revise the survey, obviously, and get your revised survey. But I believe that in the correct location, and the hot tub is 5 foot by 7 foot, that the wetland setback to the east, that's directly towards Accabonac Harbor, which is currently around 36, I think it's like 36.6 feet, that setback should be around 50 feet. And the setback to the wetlands to the north, which are on the other side of the driveway, should be around 55 feet. So I think the nearest wetland setback to the hot tub will be about 50 feet. And we'll obviously have to give you a revised survey showing that. So those are the corrections. The applicant therefore is proposing a roof deck of around, again, my figure, around 282 square feet, not as large as shown on the survey. On the roof deck would be a 35 square foot, that's 5 by 7 square foot hot tub at its western end. And then there is a existing concrete patio on the east side of the building east side of the house. That's around 175 square feet. That's proposed to get a roof and screening to screen in to make it basically usable in the summertime. And then finally, there's the proposed gravel driveway turnaround. So let me just go over the need for the variance. First, I was on the property last year. I haven't been there recently, but I can testify that getting in and out of the driveway, if more than a car or two are parked there, it's a mess trying to get out of it. So they really need, just for ordinary traffic, not to mention emergency vehicle access, you need some way to get out. Otherwise, you're making multiple turns, driving off the driveway, into the grass or onto the wetlands or whatever. So that's the need for the driveway turnaround.
So is that what they're doing? They're making it a complete
Yeah,
turnaround?
they're going to kind of make a circle so you can at least get around and come back out the
What's the
driveway.
makeup of the driveway?
Sorry, excuse me?
What will be the makeup of the driveway?
It'll be gravel stone. Quartz gravel
It
will be
says dirt
fine.
and stone driveway, but, well,
Yeah, quartz gravel.
yeah.
Impervious.
Yeah, pervious. The property current has no outdoor decking. All it has is the outdoor patio. I've been on the patio. The patio is tiny,
It is.
tiny, even tinier because it's got 18-inch drop-offs on both sides of it. So if you go anywhere near the edge of the patio, you run the risk of falling off. It's a very, very small patio. So that would be screened in. You need a roof on top of it, obviously, to screen it in. The reason to do that is to make it usable, in the summertime, you go outside in the evenings or whenever without getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And apart from that, there is no outdoor, seating area whatsoever. So that would be screened, and then the decking would go in the second floor level. The roof where it is currently slightly pitched, so that obviously would be flattened. There'll still be a gabled roof above the attached garage, but nothing will happen above the garage. And on the roof deck, there will be at the western end of the roof deck, just to the west of a door that comes out of that building right now, it will be the hot tub. And again, the hot tub is all of 5 feet by 7 feet, or 35 square feet in size. So in terms of, the planning department memo refers to the screen porch adding mass. I think that's not a reasonable interpretation. The house itself is a very modest house. If you look at it, it's not a very big house. And I haven't been out to Accabonac to look at it, but I don't think you're going to really notice much of a difference from Accabonac Creek if this porch is screened in. The outdoor use of the patio I've talked about, even with the proposed second-story deck, we're talking about a total of approximately 450 square feet of outdoor seating area, patio plus deck. The screened-in patio, the screened-in porch plus the deck, less than 500 square feet of proper outdoor seating area on the property. Again, that roof deck will be above a one-story. Where the roof deck would go is a one-story portion of the house. That was sort of almost like a salt box type with the sloping roof on the westerly side. So it's not even a full two-story house. Even the second story isn't a full second story. And where the roof deck would go, it's actually at one-story level. There's only really one neighbor who's close by, and that's the neighbor to the south. So this roof deck is on the far side of the gabled two-story portion of the building. So the neighbors should not even really be able to see the second-story deck. There obviously is no change in coverage or total coverage associated with those proposed changes. Obviously, there'll be a total coverage increase because of the driveway turnaround, but the proposed screen porch and the second-story deck have zero effect on coverage on the property, either total coverage or obviously building coverage. And finally, concern the wetland setbacks. All of the driveway turnaround being a pervious driveway is not subject to wetland setbacks. They just have to be the maximum possible achievable setback. And obviously, we're turning away from the wetlands to go back out. So I think we meet that test. With respect to the patio or screen and porch and the second-story deck and the hot tub on the deck, those are on existing structures. They're being built either on an existing concrete patio or stone patio or on the building itself. So again, no increase in the footprint of the structures at all, other than the slight increase in driveway expansion. As I said, I've been on the property, and you really have a difficult time right now with the way it's set up right now. To get out is just not workable. So the present driveway will alleviate that. This is a common driveway. It is shared with one other homeowner. That's the person to the south, and the total driveway length is about 600 feet. So again, I don't know how the prior owner was living with this all those years with the kind of, turnaround, that they don't have a turnaround. So that's the reason for the previous driveway turnaround. And finally, just the standards for the grant of the variance. The granting the variances won't cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, nor will it cause a detriment to nearby properties. The existing patio is there, making that a screen porch, which really won't be visible from the neighbor. The neighbor is actually set back a little bit further from Acabana Creek. They're not going to see that. I think the public's view from the harbor, it's not going to make any noticeable change in the view of this house. And as I said, the second story deck is not going to be visible from the neighbor to the south either. I do want to point out in regard to the hot tub, it's an extremely minimal structure. Both of the waterfront properties to the south on Acabana Creek have swimming pools, not hot tubs, full-size swimming pools. There is no means of obtaining or achieving the objectives sought without variances. Pretty much everything on this property is within the required wetland setbacks. It's an older, non-conforming lot, a little over an acre in size. There's almost no place on the property, virtually no place that actually meets a 100-foot wetland setback. In my opinion, the variances are not substantial, again, because they are on top of existing buildings, structures. The structures are already there. And with regard to the hot tub, the wetland setback will actually be greater than what's noticed in the hearing. And again, that's our issue. That's not the planning department's fault. We didn't show it correctly on the survey, so we'll correct that. Again, I don't think the variances will have a harmful effect on the environment. They are within the footprint of existing structures. They're not structures that are really going to create waste or be otherwise harmful to the nearby wetlands, which are of high quality. Nor do I think this is something that would have an effect on the scenic area, the Acabana Harbor, SAS area. And I also will point out with respect to this too, the applicant is proposing voluntarily in connection with the project, even though we're not doing anything that would trigger a septic upgrade, the applicant is proposing to upgrade the sanitary system to a low nitrogen IA system.
Is that going to need any more grading?
No, so that question came up. So we did check with the engineer on that is David Rhodes, TF Engineering. The proposed septic plan is not shown on the survey, but you should have it in your files.
Where is the survey? I mean, based on here, oh, I'm sorry.
I guess that's it, right? That's the septic plan right there. So the leaching area would go.
There it is. Oh, I didn't see, okay.
Yeah, it's not on the survey, unfortunately, but that is in the file. And you can see the leaching pool would be within that proposed driveway loop. So I actually don't know where the existing septic is. Again, that's not showing the septic, but I think we're getting further from the wetlands. I'm pretty sure about that.
So now in terms of the TAM actually addresses any increase in the driveway should be coupled with a reduction in revegetation of at least some of the existing driveway. Do you have any issues?
The only, if you want to, we can pull up the survey. The only place I could conceive of, and it's minimal, that you might be able to reduce. I'll just walk over here right good. This area here, where the driveway loops back in, there's sort of a widening, and I suppose you could eliminate this bulge. I don't know what purpose it would serve, and you reconnect.
Well, I think the TAM suggested it could create a better buffer to the wetland.
Well, the problem is we need the driveway loop. So you can't make the loop too tight. So the northern part of the driveway, the existing part of the driveway, which is the closest to the wetlands, I don't see any way of moving that or narrowing it. You still need to have some sort of a T-shaped turnaround at the end, and then you need to be able to go down to the loop. So I think there's minimal things that we could do, as I pointed out to you, but I don't see any way to pull the driveway away from the wetlands. And in fact, the driveway going back out to Springs Fireplace Road, again, runs along the wetlands that are on its northern side. I should point out, we do have a tidal wetlands permit from the DEC that was issued in March. It didn't, at that point, we hadn't yet proposed a hot tub, so we will have to modify the DEC permit, but they did issue a permit dated March 14th, 2023, and that was submitted to the zoning board file in March of this year. So those are my comments. We will need to give you a revised survey, corrects the location of the hot tub, the size of the roof deck, the wetland setbacks to the hot tub. And I don't know if you need or want the septic on the survey.
I would like that.
Okay.
So yeah, so when you do revise the layouts, the The setbacks will also be revised at this
Yes,
time, so,
yes.
and clear to us.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll make sure of that.
Any questions, anybody?
So this, just confirm, the owner bought this property in December of 2020?
I don't know what month, but 2020. That's probably correct, December. And I don't think at the moment, today, because I talked to her today, she was babysitting, I think it was her grandchild. So I guess if you were there today, I don't think she was at the house.
No, well, I can't say no one was there, but no one answered.
Beautiful spot.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address this application?
Tyler.
Oh,
What
no,
about Tyler?
We got to get Tyler.
Yeah, we need Tyler.
I see him on the edge of his seat.
Good evening, Tyler Borsek for the Planning Department. So the subject property is located at the northern end of Accabonac Harbor and is one of two parcels that obtains its access to Springs Park Place Road from a partially paved private road. Wetlands on the survey, which consist of extensive salt marsh, are located to the north and a narrow marsh band and surface waters of Accabonac Harbor to the east. The tidal wetlands on and adjoining the subject property can be expected to provide all the benefits typically associated with high-quality tidal wetlands. These benefits include the provision of habitat for wetland-dependent species of plants and wildlife, the attenuation of floodwaters and reduction of erosion, buffering of pollutants prior to surface water recharge, and aesthetic appreciation. The entire property is located within a number of specially designated areas, including the Coastal Barrier Resources Area, which are areas considered inappropriate for development and are ineligible for federal flood insurance. The extensive salt marsh surrounding Accabonac Harbor contributes to its designation as an important bird area by the National Audubon Society, which is an internationally recognized designation reserved to areas that provide outstanding habitat value for breeding, migrating, or overwintering species of birds. And other designations noted in the assessment include the scenic area of statewide significance and the Peconic Estuary Program's critical environmental area. The 10-foot by 20-foot, 22-foot, second-story roof deck is the most reasonable candidate for the requested wetland setback variance, since it's wholly within the footprint of the existing residence, does not increase gross floor area of the residence, and does not require substantial alteration to the residence. The screened porch is somewhat weaker candidate, although it is over an existing concrete patio and therefore does not increase total coverage. The variance is substantial and will increase the mass of the structure deep within wetland setbacks. The board will need to determine if the modest size of the structure, 8 foot by 19 foot, is located and its location over an improved surface contributes to satisfying the setback variance standards of 255-850D of the town code. The proposed hot tub is a poor candidate for the substantial wetland setback variance it requires. The property was acquired in 2020 after wetlands on the property were delineated and surveyed. The residence's extreme nonconformity provides the benefit of water views infrequently afforded to structures that conform to the 100-foot wetland setback. Not every residential property is suited for every residential amenity, and granting a substantial variance from such a significant wetland would set a precedent for many similar requests. The increase in the pervious driveway does not require a variance, but the planning department feels that it does not satisfy the NRSP standards of 255-551. Even the most benign pervious driveway materials increase surface runoff as the result of soil compaction. The existing driveway is an average distance of 20 feet from salt marsh to the north and within 10 feet of the wetlands near the detached studio. Any increase in the driveway should be covered with reduction and revegetation of at least some of the existing driveway. A revegetation of part of the existing driveway would reduce the overall clearing on the property and establish a modest buffer to a very significant wetland. The sanitary system was not shown on the survey, as was noted, and there's no direct nexus between improving waste disposal and the structures proposed in this application, but is an improvement overall on the property. And other than that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Tyler?
What if they added drainage to the driveway?
There is,
I mean, pervious driveways is not something generally we consider to include drainage with, since it's semi-pervious, so
Yeah.
directing it to a dry well, doesn't function as well as if it was, let's say, a paved surface that you're directing straight to some sort of drainage structure. It's generally not something we consider.
What about gutters and leaders to the
I believe that's included
That is
from the residents.
for the screened-in porch?
I believe for the whole structure. There's drywall shown on the sanitary plan. There's drywall shown, would be underneath the existing driveway.
There was a conversation about revegetation, and Mr. Whalen said there was a limited opportunity for that there. But looking at the photos, I did not visit the site. It seems as if there is some area for revegetation here. Is there any comment on that? If you didn't visit?
Sure, yeah, certainly. I mean, if the purpose of the driveway is for easier in and out, then they have an existing turnaround in the north part of the property. They could certainly remove that if that's not functioning as a turnaround and revegetate it. That's the closest structure other than the detached studio to wetlands. Certainly a buffer there would be an improvement over the existing conditions.
There is an option. There is an option.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any other questions for Tyler? Thank you.
I'm good.
Now, anybody in the public? Nobody see here. Public? Anybody on the phone, Jason?
You have 0 callers on the line. Thank you.
Oh, you're not Jason. Jason left.
Oh, close enough.
Oh, that's the voice of God.
Chappie's back.
Okay, thank you. Rick?
Again, Richard Whalen from Whalen Filer, representing the applicant. Let me just respond to several of the things that Tyler mentioned. With regard to the screened-in porch, well, first of all, everything that Tyler said about the wetlands in the area is all true. These are high-quality, very valuable wetlands. I don't think we're doing anything that's going to make them any worse, but they're high-quality wetlands, to be sure. The concrete, the screen-in porch above the concrete patio, concrete and stone patio, is only a substantial variance if you ignore the fact that the concrete patio in which it would be built is already there. So that's an existing setback. With regard to the proposed hot tub, again, we're talking about a structure that's 5 feet by 7 feet in size. We are proposing, the most significant thing proposed in connection with the application is to upgrade the sanitary system. It's been noted how close the house is to the water. I don't actually know where the septic is, but we can reasonably assume that it's close to the water, probably doesn't have a septic tank. The house is 60 years old. The most important thing that will affect the environment in the area is to upgrade to a low nitrogen IA system, which is what the applicant's proposing to do. With regard to the driveway turnaround, I just, I was on the property a couple of times. That turnout to the left near the studio is also used. Remember, the driveway is not just a driveway. There's also a parking area. And I was there when there were 4 cars parked, 2 to the right, 2 to the left, and then my car comes in. So they use that as parking. You can eliminate that, or else people will simply be parking on the dirt anyway, which will compress the dirt, and you're parking outside the driveway parking area. So I just don't think that's feasible, even though it's where it is and it's close to the wetlands. I think they need that for parking, and then they need a way to be able to get out. Is there a way to do some revegetation on the property? I'm personally thinking maybe on the south side of the house. I'd have to take that back and talk to the client about that. We do have to upgrade. We have to revise the survey, and maybe we can think about whether there are some places that we could do some revegetation. I don't think I don't think that's going to take too much out of the driveway, but I won't exclude the possibility that could be some re-veg on the
I think
property.
that's a serious consideration on your part because
Revegetation.
this is a harbor protection overlay district, so clearing is, and for me, would be an issue.
Yeah.
It's coastal barrier resources area, so there are things, and the TAM is suggesting it, and I think it's reasonable request in terms of what you're asking for.
So I'll
When
take,
you leave the record open, you could submit some sort of
yeah.
revegetation plan as well.
So let me assume that we'll be able to do some sort of revegetation plan, and we have to revise the survey. So if I think we can leave the record open for those two things, we'll put the septic on the survey. I want to also just clarify again, the engineer has told us that no grading is needed in connection with the septic. He says,
Okay.
his email to us was, it works with the existing grade. But we'll put that on the survey.
How much time do you need, Rick?
With the need for revegetation, I guess probably should ask for a month, 4 weeks.
Okay.
You want to do it 4 weeks to Tuesday to a Tuesday?
That was the 19th, you said?
17th.
19th of October.
17th
The 17th is a Tuesday.
of October.
Tuesday.
Flying
Okay, I was
by.
doing it.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, we ready to,
Yes, go for it.
we're good? In the matter of the application of Teresa Quigley, 1082 Fireplace Road in Springs, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-39-14-10. I make a motion that we leave the record open for 4 weeks till October 19th for a revised survey, which would indicate the location of the hot tub and septic system, wetland setbacks to the hot tub, and a revegetation plan.
I'll second that.
Concur.
I concur.
Concur. Thank you, Rick. Next, we have Lisa Levitin at 3 Squires Path in East Hampton, Suffolk Tax Map Number 300-157-3-17. Size and location is 20,150 square feet at 3 Squires Path, Fox Hollow Estates, lot number 27, map number 5173 in East Hampton. The description is to allow a 630 square foot, one-story addition to remain as constructed within side yard lot line and setbacks. The relief sought is one variance of 1.3 feet from 255-1110.
I think so.
So the town code is required to allow the addition to remain 13.7 feet from the western side yard lot line where a 15-foot setback is required, any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B residence, zone X flood zone, and the secret class is type 2. Council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting?
I reviewed the affidavit of service and posting, and it appears everything is in order, and the board has jurisdiction over this application.
This application is under my thing, so I will do the report. I was there, visited, the property was properly posted. I'm actually going to walk into the property line and do a 360 walk around the house so you can see what's going on. So this is the driveway. I'll walk down the driveway now. Next, this is the residence, as you can see. That's the entrance to the backyard. I'll go there, but yeah. Now I swing a little bit to the right, and you can see the shed there, and you can see the neighboring house behind it. Behind that. Now I'm walking through the backyard, and look at the rear property line. Again, a close look at the rear property line. I was trying to get a sense of, and you'll see it maybe a little bit later, that the house, this property is a relatively square property, but the house is skewed on the lot. It's rotated, so it's on an angle. And that's what I think is, you'll see as we come around where the issue is with the encroachment. It's this corner here, which is part of the addition, that is the encroachment on the side yard lot line. You can see the property is heavily vegetated or screened. This is now it's not the entire side of the house because the house is skewed. It's this corner here. It's a sliver of this corner that is actually violating the variance. And then looking down at the other side of the property. I think I take one other photo, Tyler. This is back at the road, looking in on I think it's the western side of the property line, and you can see the addition in the back. There you go. You can see the house from the aerial, the angle of the house relative to the property. Okay. We have the agent here? Or?
Hi, good evening. Sorry, I probably got up sooner than I was supposed
That's okay,
to.
you're okay.
I'm representing myself. I'm the owner of 3 Squires Path, and good evening.
You want to announce your name?
I'm Lisa Levitin, and I reside at 3 Squires Path, and I represent myself. And
You raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
yes,
the truth?
I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for allowing me and considering my variance request. It's pretty straightforward. The builder poured the foundation, unbeknownst to me, 17 inches too close on one corner to the property line. And when I applied for the CO, that's when I found out that there was an error made. So I am requesting a variance for the one corner. The plans called for the proper setback, actually. The plans called for 16 feet, 6 inches. So,
Okay, any questions?
When was the addition constructed?
it started sometime the beginning of 2020.
3 years.
Yeah, pre-COVID and then into COVID.
Any other questions? Questions, anybody?
Fine, fine. I
Thank
don't
you.
have any.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tyler?
Evening again, Tyler Borsak for the Planning Department. So the subject property is located on the north side of Squires Path in East Hampton. The application in front of the ZBA is in order to allow an existing addition to the residence, which was constructed with a building permit, to remain within side yard lot line setbacks. The project was proposed to meet setbacks when it was approved for a building permit, but was not constructed as permitted. The application was originally approved to move forward as a variance without a hearing, and was originally noticed as such. However, after a neighbor's objection to the project, the application was required to be scheduled for a public hearing. The application currently in need of a side yard setback relief was constructed under a building permit issued in 2017. That building permit was issued in order to construct a 630 square foot first floor addition, 55 square foot second floor addition containing one of the home's 3 bedrooms per all applicable codes. It appears after looking at the building permit plans and the as-built survey that the construction was both constructed slightly different from what was approved on the building plans and was also shifted approximately 2 feet further west compared to what was shown on the building plans. A portion of the southern side of the addition where the bathroom was proposed was also squared off and did not extend out as far west as what was originally designed. The board may want to consider what mitigation measures might be available to help limit the impact of the structures on neighboring parcel. Additional screening or just requiring the maintenance of the existing screening along the property line could help to reduce the visual impact of the non-conforming structure. Other than that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do you have any?
Portion of, I'm sorry, the portion of the addition that was requiring the variance is really just a 1.5 foot triangle, is that right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, triangle in the corner of the building. So it's not the length of the building.
Right.
Anyway, just
Just a section of that building, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody in the public would like to address this application? Come on up. Hi, announce yourself.
I am Jessica Wayman. I live at 1 Squares.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm here just to mention that it seems that it's a self-created hardship, and the code, to apply equally to all residents. I have to honor the codes for my property, and I just am here saying that, and it just seems fair that we all have to stay with the code. Just simply that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody online? Matt?
I have a
You have 0 callers on the line. Thank you.
Okay, question for the applicant. Come on up, Lisa. Yeah.
Yeah, would you have a problem if we conditioned approval on maintaining the screening that you already have?
On maintaining the screening that's already there?
The vegetation on the side yard line.
There's already screening there.
We want you to, we want to condition on that the screening will always be there.
Absolutely. If there's,
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
It's a suggestion in the TAM, which you
Yeah,
probably already read.
I don't have an objection with that. It's really just the corner, which is
Right.
into her,
And I don't think
into
we'll
her
condition it on the
garage.
whole property line. I think
No,
just a
no,
visible, just a
right.
visible area.
Yeah.
Right.
You can go so
Yeah.
many feet from
All
here.
right, thank you.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you.
All right, with that, I make a motion in the application of Lisa Levitin at 3 Squires Path, East Hampton, Suffolk, tax map number 300-157-3-17 is to close the public hearing, the public record.
I'll second it.
Concur.
Concur.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, our next public hearing is Manum East Hampton LLC at 64 Beach Lane, Wayne-Scott, Suffolk tax map number 300-200-2-16. The size and location is 67,650 square feet at 64 Beach Lane, Wayne-Scott. Description is to construct a 1,690 square foot swimming pool and 250 square foot of pool deck within northern side yard lot line setbacks. The two variances of 10 feet are required from 255-1110 of the town code to construct the proposed swimming pool and pool patio 20 feet from the northern side yard lot line, where 30 feet foot setbacks are required. Any other relief necessary. The zoning district is A2 resident zone X flood zone, and the secret class is type 2. Council, do we have proper affidavit of service and posting?
I've reviewed the affidavit of service and posting, and appears everything is in order, and the board has jurisdiction over this application.
Thank you. Tyler, that's not this, right, that's last time's photos. Is that the one I gave you today?
Yeah.
Okay, then it was on the posting on the.
Yeah, September 19th.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, my bad. They posted it on the sample. So if you remember, board members, if you remember the last hearings we had, this was a posting error. It was listed as a posting on 60 Beach Lane, when actually the property is 64 Beach Lane. We decided to hold the hearing anyway, and then have the applicant post it properly to see if there was any opposition to it, to have it properly posted. So I did go there and I took photos, because the last time I took photos of 60 Beach Lane. So if you look, this is the walking down the driveway. And again, I'm going to do a walk around. This is the existing house. I believe this is going to be a redevelopment of the property. Is that right, Tyler?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I think the survey would depict that. But, so this is the side yard lot line to the north. This is entering the backyard now, and I have to say, it's a spectacular vista looking over the Wayne-Scott Pond here. It's a beautiful piece of property. Next. This is looking at the neighbor's house that on 64 that we discussed last time. Now I'm just scanning around the property, doing a 360 so you get a sense of the property itself. This is an expansive rear yard. Next, looking directly out at Wayne-Scott, overlooking the dunes to the ocean. Looking more towards the south. This is a neighboring property to the south. And that's it. So the pool, I'm sorry, was going into that backyard. It's on the survey. I think this is a formality, so we're going to open it. We opened the hearing, and I think we're just going to close the hearing because we held the hearing the last time.
Somebody here.
Is there? I don't think there's anybody here relative to this application.
No.
Right?
For the public? The public anyway.
Right. So board members with Manum East Hampton LLC, 64 Beach Lane, Wayne-Scott, Suffolk tax map number 300-200-2-16. I make a motion to close the public hearing in the public records.
I'll second it.
Concur.
Thank you. Next, we go into our work session. We have administrative application at 316 OMH LLC, 316 Old Montauk Highway, Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-88-1-26.2, and it's to demolish a small portion of an existing residence and to construct a 1,399 square foot of first and second story additions with basement, enclosed and existing covered porch, new window wells, AC units, basement access, and an upgraded sanitary system on a parcel of land containing bluffs and beaches. Tyler?
Okay. So this was in front of the board very recently. for an administrative approval, actually two recently. I'll go through them real quick just so you, to jog your memories a bit. This was in 2020. This is on Old Montauk Highway, so it's from the base of Bluff. It's a 125-foot setback. They meet that. The 125-foot setback would be up in this area up here. So they're well beyond that. They're 140 feet-ish to the existing residence. The board had approved a one-story addition to the residence back in 2020. It went administratively, upgraded the sanitary system, some other minor changes. And then in the beginning of last year, the board approved a larger footprint with a second-story addition to the existing residence, same relative location, slightly larger, and then adding a second story as well. That went approved to go administratively as well, same idea, a sanitary upgrade, other similar changes. Now they are in for a smaller addition on the west side, but also an addition on the east side. Ultimately, the difference is a slight reduction in gross floor area compared to what you had just approved administratively. They're just sort of splitting it between the two sides of the residence. We expect the same impacts mostly during construction, and we'll have the same mitigation involved. They're still upgrading the sanitary system. It's just a shift in where that gross floor area is proposed on the residence, essentially.
What's the distance from the property line on the east now for the new addition?
17.6.
And what was the reasoning for the basement?
Yeah.
Did they
why
say?
basement?
Reasoning for the
Well, I mean,
Where's the
what's,
basement?
is it livable, I mean, what is it for?
the basement? Let's see.
Is the basement going on the east side now
There's,
or the west?
well, it'd be both, I imagine.
Both?
Yeah, there's a basement plan on both, for both sides. They're labeling it as a playroom,
Playroom?
mechanical on the west side, laundry, bunk area. It looks like there's a bathroom down there. And then the first story. So this is first story only. And then this side is first and second story. And there's your second story. So no
This
second
is a
story on the west
modification
side.
to a previously approved.
Yeah, they give us the numbers actually on the building plans. So it was approved at 1,404 square foot addition, and now they're asking for 1,399 square foot addition. So a slight reduction, 5 square feet reduction in GFA, not significant, certainly.
And you're comfortable with this?
So that's,
We were, yeah. I mean, the impacts on the bluff are very similar. We don't expect to see any difference between the two of any huge degree. Mostly probably just during construction, and that'll be mitigated with project limiting fencing and silt fencing. And then they're doing the sanitary upgrade at the same time, which is probably a requirement, but either way, that's getting done. But at the same time, it's Atlantic Ocean, so it's not a huge mitigating measure, but nonetheless.
so now the west plus the east will come in at 5 feet less than just the west before.
Right. Yeah, the west,
Gonna be
the western
digging
addition
out
before was
basements.
longer and 2 stories. So they're shrinking it down, making it 1 story, and then doing the east side as well.
Any questions? Any other questions?
No, I don't have.
Do we have a problem with it?
How big is this property?
63,000.
Okay.
I think it's in common ownership with this property here because this property to the north is vacant and contains part of their driveway. So I imagine it's in common ownership.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Okay,
now
thank you.
they've reached their limit
have-
on requests.
Yeah, can we make a motion?
Looks they changed their mind again.
I'll
Okay,
make them, you'll make it good.
I don't care. I wasn't gonna fight you for it. Well, I gotta go back, sorry. Then the application of 316 Old Montauk Highway LLC at 316 Old Montauk Highway, Montauk, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-88-1-26.2. I'd like to make a motion to allow this application to proceed administratively.
Second.
Concur.
I concur. Thank you. In other decisions, we have John and Nancy Magnan at 59 Osprey Road, Amagansett, Suffolk, tax map number 300-131-5-19. It's an amendment of the determination filed on April 7th. And I believe, council, this is a amendment. Thank you. Good night. Amendment to correct the timing of the overall timing of the application. So, right?
Yes, in the original adopted determination, there were just two conflicting paragraphs, and I think we determined that it's more or less was like a scrivener's error or typo.
CO in the building.
Yeah, about how the length of time that the determination is valid. There were two conflicting paragraphs, so we eliminated the one that said that it was only good for a year because the code confirms that it's 3 years. And that was already in the determination.
3 years.
The 3 years was already in there, so we needed to remove the 1 year.
Oh, that was the 1 year for the C of O or something? Is
Yes.
that what it was? Okay.
Everyone's okay? So in the matter of John and Nancy Magnum, 59 Osprey Road, Amagansett, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-131-05-19, I make a motion to adopt the written decision as amended.
I'll second it.
I concur.
I concur.
I concur. Thank you. Next, we have the minutes of approval for drafts minutes of September 12th, 2023.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the draft minutes from September 12th, 2023 for the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
Concur.
Concur.
Concur. Thank you. All right, so we have 3 resolutions this evening, and they're all in East Hampton. I'm looking for Damon, so give me a second. I'm gonna deal with Mesh and Calaswano first, right?
Okay.
Because I have them uploaded. On Mesh, the purpose of the application was to allow an existing pool equipment and approximately 130 square feet of pool decking to remain within side yard lot setbacks of northern property line. Board members, if you remember, this was approved, all concurred. So therefore, I'm going to make a motion on Frank Mesh at 303 Two Holes of Water Road, East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-157-1-3 to approve the resolution as written.
Second.
I concur.
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 Thank you. I'll now do Calaswano. Like, Calaswano was to construct a 392 square foot swimming pool with pool equipment and parcel on a parcel within northern and southern side yard setbacks. This too was approved and all concurred. So in Daniel Calaswano and 10 Hampton Place, East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-170-1-26.1. I make a motion to adopt the resolution as written.
Second.
Concur.
I concur.
Concur.
Last one is Damon. Now I gotta find Damon.
I did Damon.
Yeah,
Didn't we do Damon?
No.
Oh.
He had
did
his two
Mesh.
pulls up.
I did
That
Calaswano.
was Mesh and Calaswano.
I don't remember what Damon was. Here we go. Got it. Damon was a purpose of the application was to allow an existing swimming pool to remain located within front yard line yard setbacks. This too was approval and all concurred. So in the application of Drew Damon at 20 Post Street, East Hampton, Suffolk, tax map number 300-138-2-12.1, I make a motion to adopt the resolution as written.
Second.
Concur.
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 Thank you. And with that, we can adjourn.
Thank you very much, Mr.
President.
Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to close the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for September 19th, 2023 at 7:44 PM.
Second.
Concur.